What if an asteroid the size of Texas hit Earth? Imagine a night like any other, quiet, still and full of the familiar hum of life on our planet. The moon hangs softly in the sky, stars flicker like ancient whispers and all seems unchanged. But far beyond our atmosphere, hidden in the silent dark of space, a massive object tumbles through the void. Cold, silent and ancient, this object is not just any celestial body. It is a titan, a wandering behemoth the size of the great state of Texas, drifting closer with every moment. This scenario, as vast and improbable as it may seem, opens the door to a fascinating exploration, not of panic or chaos, but of deep cosmic perspective. Let us begin this gentle descent into what would unfold if such an unimaginable force arrived at our world. Not with alarm, but with wonder, curiosity, and quiet contemplation. To understand the gravity of such an event, we must first grasp the sheer scale of an asteroid the size of Texas. Picture the landmass stretching over 268,000 square miles, a landscape so vast it could hold entire countries within its borders. Now imagine that landmass not resting on Earth's surface, but soaring through space, a monolith of rock and metal larger than Mount Everest, grander than any mountain range, older than any civilization. It does not hum or roar, it simply glides, pulled by gravity's invisible hand. Slowly it crosses the cold distances of the solar system, a relic from a time before our planet had formed, perhaps shaped in the early cradle of our cosmic neighborhood. Its journey is long and silent, unnoticed until it nears the blue marble we call home. Now consider Earth from a cosmic vantage point, a soft sphere of greens and blues and swirling whites. To us it is vast. To the universe it is small. The atmosphere is thin, fragile, like the skin of a soap bubble. And yet within this delicate membrane, all life as we know it exists. The asteroid approaches, its trajectory intersecting the orbit of our planet. Scientists with eyes on the stars first detect a faint glint in the data, a trace anomaly among millions. At first it is only a curiosity, a speck in the grand machine of the cosmos. But soon calculations converge, paths are mapped, velocities aligned, and certainty arrives with a hush. This object is on a direct course for Earth. Unlike smaller meteorites, which streak through our skies and burn in the protective shield of our atmosphere, this one is far too large. It will not burn up, it will not bounce away. It will strike, and when it does, the very face of the planet will be altered. But we are not here to shout or panic. We are here to visualize, to understand, and to drift through the sequence of events as though we were watching from the safety of the stars. Let us pause for a moment to feel the weight of time. The asteroid's impact is still days away. Across the globe, the news spreads. Headlines appear, conversations change, scientists gather, telescopes refocus, satellites align. But even in the midst of discovery, there is a strange quiet. No action can stop the object. It is too massive, too fast. And so humanity turns inward. Some prepare, some reflect, others simply continue, watching sunsets and children playing, listening to music, tasting their favorite meals, as if to savor the world before it changes forever. The final hours come. The asteroid, now visible in the sky, burns faintly like a second moon. It grows slowly at first, then rapidly. No longer a distant dot, it becomes a looming presence like a god of stone arriving at unimaginable speed. The impact zone is projected somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, far from major cities, but the consequences will not be limited to geography. The moment of collision arrives, and with it time seems to hold its breath. The asteroid, traveling at tens of thousands of miles per hour, enters the atmosphere. The air ignites around it. A column of superheated gases forms beneath the massive body, compressing violently, and then with a force measured in millions of megatons, the asteroid strikes. Earth quakes. Oceans part. A shockwave unlike any before, it ripples outward in all directions. The impact vaporizes everything at ground zero. Water is thrown miles into the sky, turning to steam almost instantly. A crater hundreds of miles wide opens in the ocean floor, exposing the mantle below. The kinetic energy released is beyond comprehension, enough to disrupt the rotation of the planet, to jolt the very axis of Earth itself. Massive tsunamis are born from the force, towering waves that speed across the oceans with devastating momentum. Coastal cities vanish beneath the surge. Entire landscapes are rewritten in minutes. But the water is only the beginning. As debris from the impact site is ejected into the sky, it carries with it a blanket of dust and ash. These particles rise high into the stratosphere, forming a dark veil that encircles the planet. The sun dims, daylight fades, temperatures drop. This is not a nuclear winter, but an impact winter. A sudden global cooling triggered by the shroud of fine particulate matter. Crops fail, ecosystems falter, animals migrate confused, weather patterns shift. The once familiar rhythms of Earth are broken, and yet not all life ends. Life is resilient, tenacious. In the oceans deep below the surface, life continues. In underground caves, in mountain shelters, in remote valleys and quiet forests, species survive. Humanity, scattered and fractured, adapts. Some perish, some rebuild. Communities form, sharing knowledge, food, and warmth. Technology, though damaged, is not lost. Memory persists. The skies, once grey and dim, begin to clear after months. Sunlight filters back. Slowly, the atmosphere recovers. Plants return. Insects buzz. Birds call. And with time, Earth heals. The crater becomes a new sea. The scars on the land soften. Trees take root in ash. Rivers find new paths. And humanity, having witnessed the vast power of the cosmos, carries forward the memory of what once fell from the stars. In this story, we are not only witnesses to destruction, but participants in renewal. The asteroid's impact is not the end, but a transformation, a chapter in the long, slow book of our planet's history. And as we drift now through this imagined journey, let us remember the beauty of our world, the fragility of its systems, and the strength of its life. Let us hold gently the thought that even in the face of such overwhelming forces, there is peace to be found in understanding. There is calm in seeing the big picture. There is wisdom in accepting that we are small but not powerless. And so as the dust settles and the stars return to view, we look upward once more, not in fear but in awe. The sky, vast and eternal, holds secrets we may never fully grasp. But we are part of its story, and tonight we sleep beneath it, reminded that even in our most fragile moments, we are connected to something greater. In the weeks following the impact, the Earth enters a strange twilight state, a muted world where light is filtered through the ever-thickening curtain of dust and ash. Cities that once glittered with the hum of electricity now lie in dim silence. The air carries a scent unfamiliar, metallic and cold like the breath of ancient stone. Skies are painted in hues of grey and rust, and the stars are veiled behind a persistent veil that stretches from horizon to horizon. The temperature drops gradually at first, then sharply. Crops wither in fields that were once fertile. Trees shed leaves prematurely. Animals, confused by the sudden shift, wander from their usual patterns, migrating, searching for food, for warmth, for something known. Lakes begin to freeze, winds grow stronger, as global atmospheric currents realign themselves around this new disrupted balance. Yet even in this chill and uncertainty, life persists. In pockets of the world, in bunkers, greenhouses, and shelters, humans gather. They light fires, they share stories, they adapt. Scientists record every moment, taking notes not only for the sake of knowledge, but for remembrance. What we live through now, they reason, must not be forgotten. History must be preserved, even as the world is rewritten. Months pass. The sun is no longer a stranger, but it is distant, its warmth diluted. Snow falls where it never has before. Deserts bloom with frost. Oceans, disturbed and yet recovering, begin to calm. The waves are no longer monstrous, though the shorelines they kiss are forever changed. Where once stood cities, there are now empty plains. Where once were harbors, there are deep inland bays. Humanity continues step by slow step. We learn to grow food beneath artificial lights. We purify water, share supplies, and construct new methods of communication. The internet, fragmented, regrows in segments powered by isolated systems. A network of survivors emerges, not defined by nationality, but by resilience and cooperation. Art returns. Music is heard once more. Children are born into this new world, their eyes wide not with fear but with curiosity. They do not remember the sky before it turned grey, but they imagine it, painting it in bright blues and soft whites. As the dust layer begins to settle, pulled slowly to Earth by gravity and rain, clarity returns. The sun grows stronger. Photosynthesis resumes. Green returns to the land in hesitant, lovely bursts. Grasses reclaim the soil. Forests begin to reawaken. Animals repopulate, some species newly dominant, others now rare. The natural world reshapes itself, not in defiance, but in quiet resilience. Earth, always evolving, simply continues, and in the human spirit there is a shift. No longer do we see ourselves as separate from nature, but deeply entwined. We were reminded in the most profound way of our place within the greater system. We are caretakers now. We are listeners. In time, the crater itself becomes a place of significance. A deep blue sea forms in its basin, surrounded by cliffs and strange formations. Life returns there too, cautiously, then abundantly. What was once the site of catastrophe is now a sanctuary. Species unique to this new environment emerge. Researchers dive into its depths, exploring ecosystems untouched by human hands. We name the sea after the event, a word that carries both gravity and grace. Stories emerge from every culture, passed down through songs, poems, and quiet rituals. Some describe the impact as divine, others as a message, most simply as a moment of great change. The date of the event becomes a marker in history, a global shared memory. Museums preserve artifacts from the world before, side by side with the innovations of the world after. Children grow into adults who never saw the old Earth, but who learn to cherish the new one with quiet reverence. They study the skies with deep respect, knowing what once came from the stars and how it shaped everything they know. Humanity eventually builds telescopes more powerful than ever before. Space observation becomes not just a science, but a cultural cornerstone. Never again will we be unaware of what moves through the vastness above. New missions are launched, not just to watch, but to learn. We send crafts to study asteroids, to understand their composition, their origins, their paths. We build systems to deflect, to prepare, not from fear, but from knowledge. Our curiosity becomes our guide. Decades later, the planet has settled. A new equilibrium has formed. Cities have grown once again, designed now with the lessons of the past in mind. Green, sustainable, resilient. We live closer to nature, in harmony with its rhythms. The memory of the great impact is never far. It lives in the architecture, in the policies, in the way we teach our children. It is not a scar, but a line in the story. A reminder of what was lost and what was found. And in the quiet hours of the night, beneath stars once again visible and bright, people still look up. They tell stories. They speak of the great stone that came from the sky, not with anger or sorrow, but with awe. It was an ending, yes, but it was also a beginning. The earth endures, life endures, and so do we. In the generations that follow, the tale of the asteroid the size of Texas becomes more than a story. It becomes a thread woven into the cultural and spiritual fabric of a changed humanity. Elders speak of it around fires, not with trembling voices, but with a calm wisdom born from survival. It is told with reverence, like the ancient myths of gods and floods, of rebirth and resilience. In every corner of the planet, from mountaintop villages to reimagined coastal cities, memorials stand, not only to the lives lost, but to the unity that emerged in their wake. These are not monuments of sorrow, but of balance, designed to face the sky as if to whisper we remember, and we are watching. The new generation of scientists, thinkers, artists, and leaders carry with them a different understanding of time. No longer is the human story seen in short spans of years or decades, but in the vast rhythm of geological epochs and cosmic cycles. They study ice cores, sediment layers, the composition of regrown forests, tracing the fingerprints left by that single celestial moment. They discover how it shaped winds and waters, how it redirected the migration of birds, how it altered the songs of whales beneath the seas. They begin to see Earth not just as a home, but as a partner in a long, evolving conversation. And the more they look outward into space, the more they begin to dream, not just of survival, but of contact, of connection. They wonder if other worlds, perhaps far away, have faced similar trials. If life beyond Earth, intelligent or otherwise, has been touched by similar cosmic hands. There is no fear in the wondering, only curiosity, and a profound sense of shared existence in a universe far older and more mysterious than we once dared to imagine. On Earth, meanwhile, the scars of the impact continue to soften. The crater sea now hosts a thriving ecosystem. Coral reefs bloom in alien shapes. Fish with iridescent scales swim through underwater canyons, formed by the violent carving of stone and water. The place becomes a symbol of renewal, a living reminder that even the greatest destructions can give rise to beauty never before conceived. Tourists visit, guided by marine biologists and historians. Children dip their hands in the water and listen to stories about the day the sky fell. Some of them smile with innocent wonder. unable to fully grasp the depth of what happened. Others grow quiet, thoughtful, as if touched by an ancient memory. Farther inland, old cities are reborn, not rebuilt in the same image, but redesigned with nature at the core. Buildings are constructed with organic materials, powered by wind, water, and sun. Transportation is quiet, clean, respectful of the land it crosses. Noise pollution becomes a thing of the past. The sounds of birds, flowing streams, and distant winds return to the soundscape of daily life. Humans speak more softly now, not out of fear, but from a place of listening. There is a deeper appreciation for silence, for reflection, for the unspoken dialogues between earth and sky. Schools no longer teach only dates and facts, but emotional wisdom. How to recognize beauty, how to honor life, how to remain calm in the face of uncertainty. The story of the impact is central to this education, not as a warning, but as a parable of resilience and interconnection. Literature, music, and art reflect this new spirit. Films are made, songs are sung, canvases are filled with images of the sky, the crater sea, and the quiet strength of communities that rose from the ashes. Some of these works are delicate and meditative, while others are bold, celebratory, echoing with the joy of survival. The emotional palette of the world has widened. People feel more deeply, not because they are fragile, but because they are awake. And still we look upward. Space agencies now operate in full global cooperation. Telescopes monitor not just near-Earth objects, but the distant dance of stars and planets. We listen for signals, not in paranoia, but in peaceful anticipation. Probes are launched with messages of art, music, mathematics, and love, symbols of who we are should anyone ever find them. Our relationship with space is no longer a conquest, but a conversation. And through it all, Earth continues to change, as it always has. Continents shift, climates evolve, life adapts, and within that life, humanity finds a gentler way forward. Our species, once racing forward in haste and hunger, now moves with care. Not slower, but wiser. We understand that time is a river, not a race. That survival is not just about strength, but harmony. And that in every great challenge lies an opportunity to remember who we are. The asteroid, though long gone, remains a silent teacher. Its lesson was not one of fear, but of humility, of scale, of interdependence. It reminded us that we are not the masters of this world, but guests, stewards, fellow travelers on a small blue sphere spinning through the vast, mysterious dark. As the centuries pass, the memory of the event becomes myth, but not forgotten. It is etched into the foundations of our culture. Every generation learns the story in their own way, through words, through ritual, through the steady gaze toward the heavens. And perhaps that is the greatest gift the asteroid gave us, a reminder to look up, to wonder, to care, and to listen to the earth always. As night falls once again and the stars reclaim their ancient positions, we close our eyes not in fear, but in peace. The world is changed, but still turning. Life is different, but still singing. And somewhere out there in the silent cold of space, another rock drifts quietly, waiting for its moment, not of destruction, but of reminder that in the vastness of it all we are small, we are fragile, but we are never alone. And so the centuries stretch onward, like threads spun from the looms of time, quiet and unwavering. Humanity evolves slowly, naturally, not through force or conquest, but through awareness and understanding. We become more attuned to the rhythms of the earth beneath our feet and the stars above our heads. The memory of the asteroid remains not as a shadow over our future, but as a compass that gently guides us, whispering softly through the halls of knowledge, echoing in the chambers of our hearts. It reminds us to ask better questions, to seek meaning not just in data but in feeling, not just in survival but in the quiet joy of connection, to one another, to the natural world, and to the great unknown. The skies, once feared as the source of destruction, become sacred again. Ancient traditions are revived and reimagined. People gather beneath constellations, telling stories that bridge science and spirit. Observatories double as temples, places where the awe of the universe is not only studied, but honored. Space becomes not a battlefield of ambition, but a garden of curiosity. And our explorations are marked not by flags, but by open hands. We plant instruments on moons. We listen to the echoes of ancient galaxies, and we send gentle messages into the dark, not to claim, but to share. On Earth, the seasons continue their eternal cycle. Winters are still cold, summers still warm. Children still laugh in the rain, and the wind still carries the scents of forests and oceans. The crater sea becomes a place of pilgrimage, a gentle reminder of the past and a symbol of healing. Couples are married on its shores. Scientists conduct quiet research beneath its waves. Artists sketch its silhouette against the twilight sky. And those who visit often leave in silence, touched by something they cannot quite explain, something deeper than words. Time, that great sculptor of civilization, continues its work. Languages change, borders shift, technologies rise and fall. But one truth remains constant: our awareness of the fragility and wonder of life on this planet. And it is in that awareness that humanity finds its truest strength. No longer do we see nature as a resource to be used, but as a partner to be honored. No longer do we chase endless growth, but instead seek balance. Our architecture mirrors the curves of the land. Our energy flows from the sun and the wind. Our decisions are guided by long-term thinking, measured not in profit or power, but in well-being and wisdom. This transformation is not sudden. It is not perfect. There are setbacks, there are debates, but there is also a steady, quiet agreement, spoken in many tongues and expressed in countless ways, that we are all in this together, that the earth is not ours to dominate but to cherish, and that the stars, while distant, are part of our story too. Eventually, perhaps we will leave Earth not out of desperation, but with gratitude. We will walk on other worlds not to escape, but to expand the circle of life, to carry the lessons of a single ancient impact into the far reaches of space. And perhaps one day a distant civilization will hear our story and see in it a reflection of their own. For now, though, we rest beneath this sky, a sky once split by fire, now whole again. We sleep in a world that has seen great loss and greater renewal. We dream, as all creatures do, of peace, of love, of endless stars. And in that dream we carry the memory of the asteroid, not as a harbinger but as a messenger, a reminder that in the vast silence of the cosmos there is beauty in fragility, strength in unity, and meaning in the ever-turning dance of worlds. Good night, Earth, sleep gently. The stars are watching,